mentioned that
Are-
maybe they'll want to come closer.
Like,
Oh, right, yeah.
it's not,
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
sorry about that.
Okay, yeah.
Clock's fast up there.
Oh, is it? Yeah, 4 minutes, yeah. Oh, for several months now, John, eh?
I have no update with that.
Yeah, John, you weren't here for the last two, the special one or the July 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. Oh, you don't like it, it clears it up, it cleans it up. Yeah.
No, or we'll do it next time. No. Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to our regular council meeting for August 21st, 2023. We might be having some PA problems in here, so if you can't hear, just move a little bit closer to the front here too. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional territories and the oral practices of the Blackfoot Nation, which include the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. We're making this acknowledgement to demonstrate our continuing efforts to work together as we strive for reconciliation through increased and collective learning. Before we start off the meeting here, I just want to start off complimenting everyone on the success of the Plus 55 Alberta Summer Games. And I'll start with the volunteers. We had over 200 that helped out with the different sports and activities. Now, it's impossible to name everyone, but I would like to thank Dwayne Perkins for coming forward to chair the event. He took the role and he certainly ran with it. And also a big thanks to Kelly Sanford. She's a real go-getter. She was the games coordinator, and man, did she do a really good job. I also want to thank city staff. They went out of their way to make sure that all the facilities were in great condition, and the business community, which came forward with sponsorships. Now, I think there's a few of us that were out and about there, but we received a lot of positive comments. I'm just going to talk about a few of them. A gentleman here for Bocce said he was so impressed with the flower beds and the murals in the community, the number that we had, and the historical element of the murals we have in the community. I was helping out with golf, and they had such positive feedback on how great the Brooks Golf Course was and how everything in the community looked so green. I think we have to thank irrigation for that. And some other notes here too, nice accolades. We got some nice accolades on the opening ceremonies on Thursday night, plus the participants' dinner Saturday night with the Beatles tribute band. Everyone had a lot of fun. We left a really nice impression for the rest of the province. Just a wonderful look for our community, and it certainly opens up the door for more opportunities for this city here. As mayor, I'm proud of this community. It's just a great job by everyone. It was just a wonderful weekend there. So thank you everyone there too. Moved by Councillor that the agenda be adopted. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Prentice that the minutes from the regular council meeting held July 4th, 2023, and the special council meeting held July 18th, 2023 be approved. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Nesbitt that the June and July 2023 RCMP report be accepted as information. Corporal Schmidt, if you want to come forward, please. I'm seeing a lot of you lately, but in a good way.
Yes. I have a face for radio, yet they keep putting me in print. So.
yeah.
Thank you very much for having me today. Just to go over the report, Sergeant Searle was going to attend, but he had an issue come up that he couldn't for today, so he sends his apologies and me instead. For this report, we had 386 calls for service, 38 prisoners were lodged at the detachment, 182 criminal record checks, and 56 violation tickets issued. We had 33 prisoners lodged in the detachment for July so far, 136 municipal tickets and 325 calls for service. 136, criminal record checks and 46 violation tickets for July. The previous was June. We've had some fairly significant events, mostly centered around property crime and a few violent offenses during this time period of June and July. Our property crime statistics did drop. However, most of our significant events were centered around theft of vehicles, theft of fuel. I can give a bit of an update on some of those today, which was very positive news. Back in early June and July, we saw a huge uptick in vehicles being stolen, so we partnered up with the Medicine Hat Alert and our South District crew and brought them in and working in partnerships with our GI unit and looked after these two individuals that we identified as doing most of the vehicle thefts in the area. Countless hours of surveillance and later in a whole bunch of charges, we arrested both of them just south of Raymond in a stolen RV. They've both been remanded in custody and remain there. We were hoping that would drop our crime stats. However, one of their associates who is kind of in that little ring of property thefts, they have been the ones who's been associated with a lot of the property crime of recent note, the stolen trailer of theft of fuel. He's been located in multiple stolen trailers and vehicles, like doing a lot of property crime right from county and Brooks all the way into Saskatchewan. I'm happy to update that he's been in custody as of today in Saskatchewan and several warrants with 2 females. So that should do a significant impact immediately to our property crime in the area. So that's some good news. Other good files, our general investigative section located a Canada-wide warrant mail on a residence. As soon as he attended, the male fled out of the house. A small foot chase ensued, and we ended up apprehending that individual who went to court. We had another stolen vehicle. This person was isolated from this property crime stolen vehicles syndicate, but it was another stolen vehicle that one of our Red Cliff traffic units located. He fled from our members. We were able to contain the area, held it down for about 3-4 hours after he put his vehicle into a canal and completely submerged it. We were able to, with the use of the dog, put the dog to use, and we were able to apprehend him hiding in a field. So he was brought into custody. He's subsequently been released, but other ones are all kind of centered around that. We did have a significant assault, which I put out, we were finally able to get a media release out on today. It did happen in July. We had a serious assault on a 41-year-old Brooks resident on July 23rd. The male, when we located him, was suffering from a significant assault. He was brought to hospital immediately and then transferred later to Foothills. 3 days later, they succumbed to their injuries and they did pass away. So we do have an active homicide investigation ongoing in Brooks. The major crime unit, RCMP major crime unit, came down immediately, assumed conduct of the investigation, and that investigation is ongoing. There was limited details in what we could put forth in a media release at this time. The risk to public was deemed very low, and these are known associates to each other. So we don't have anybody charged or in custody for it yet. However, as like I say, the investigation is still ongoing. I wish I could expand more on that, but right now it's kind of limited in what I can say because they are in control of that investigation and have all the file knowledge, and there's a bit of a tactical thing to it. We've also had a couple other significant seizures as far as like the Brooks Peace Officer Grant actually made a traffic stop, located a couple prolific offenders. Through that traffic stop, we were able to locate a couple conductive energy weapons. They had their own homemade tasers, and they were breaching some conditions, so we were able to hold those in custody. I know myself, we had a male show up with 7 warrants out of British Columbia. He wanted to make Brooks his new home. We reviewed those warrants, reached out to Crown Counsel in BC, and they were very serious warrants for firearms-related offenses, aggravated robbery, this sort of thing. We were able, in a rare instance, have those warrants extended out to Brooks, and that male was sent back to BC to do his time for there. So another dangerous individual out of Brooks. So that's kind of the way things are going. Things, like I say, for as far as the property crime that did occur, even though it was diminished, was fairly serious, and we've made very good advances on those in the last little bit. So hopefully we notice a dip that will remain should these people stay in jail. So any
Okay,
questions or anything like that?
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
wide
open
open.
up for questions. I'll just reiterate there, and I think Councillor Idris kind of knows the stat here too, and it goes back to when we were at Alberta Municipalities. I think, I don't know what the stat is, but most of the crime is done by about 100 people in the province, you know, and it's just the repeat offender. And I know, I think government officials are trying to work on that. I don't know if you can.
70% of crime impact is from 100 individuals in the province.
Absolutely, kind of the running statistic we always kind of go with, and it's, you know, a couple degrees here or there, but it's 95% of the crime is created by 5% of any given population at the time. So it's very significant that it's always the same ongoing. There's the, you know, crime that just happens out of emotion, and then the planned ones. And this group here, like I say, is mostly opportunistic. They say in the area, in the county areas, when especially it's rural based, they follow trends. They're very good at their job, if we can call it that. They know when farmers are working in the field, when the oil hands are out, when the weather's nice, keys are left in vehicles. There's, you know, so-and-so has got to fill up the tractor after, so there's always, you know, 1,000 liters of fuel there. So it's very opportunistic, and they know how to get it and get it quick. Same as RVs, they're unlocked. Doesn't make it right, no, but, you know, ensuring the public side to always secure your objects. Yes, your trailer hasn't been stolen in 30 years. for the sake of a $20 lock, throw it on the hitch and help prevent that, because it's the bleed off in what we do investigationally and how we're able to apprehend these people as to what they can do. So, as far as, sure, they might have taken your trailer or something like that, it's what they do afterwards and the property damage and fleeing from police and putting the public at risk that is the concerning part for us, as we witnessed with that one vehicle full of fuel all over the freeway and stuff the other day. It's that element that creates a whole bunch of more safety issues for us.
I was going to ask on the staffing, well, what does it mean? You got a couple people transferring from Brooks but will remain in the community. What does that mean?
So with, when we, in a detachment like Brooks that I found, you will get a lot of fairly like new recruits that will come here, and this is their maybe first, second posting, that sort of thing. So they're often very motivated in their career they come in and they do their time in Brooks. So 4 or 5 years is what they stay. Most of these members have been here for their time duration of 5-6 years. And then for staffing reasons, they will transfer them to another detachment. Say, like one member here is transferring to Bassano, another one is part of our integrated teams. However, they don't want to leave Brooks. They like living in Brooks too much. It's, affordable. They
And
like
that's
the community.
understandable,
Yeah, and they're engaged in the community. So they've gone out to other units, but still remaining here. They got their foundation and their family here. So it's a place that, although they want different experiences, they're not willing to cut the tie and leave just yet. So that's a good reflection of the city, that's for sure. We're losing, we lost now Sergeant Argue to promotion to Red Cliff Traffic. So the spots that we're trying to fill are the community spot he was at. We have it staffed with Constable Peters, who's engaged in the same things that he started. So it's been an easy transition, and she's taking the flag and running with it. So we're attracting very good members. We have an experienced corporal coming in. He should be selling his house or just sold his house, like with quite a few years service. So we're attracting some more experienced officers, which helps too.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to, you can maybe do a general comment on the cadet program. I don't know what your involvement was that, but there's a few counselors here. I think Councilor Idris were at the graduation that afternoon there, but a nice summer program for the kids there too, if you want to just briefly comment on that.
Absolutely. It was, this is the first, I came here last year and I wasn't really part of it simply because scheduling and I didn't know what was going on, but this is the second year for the Brooks Youth Academy. Last year, I think, was the first initial trial and run. They did a great job with it, but from that, there was such interest and motivation behind it that they were able to get a lot of actually external funding and grants. So they were able to buy uniform belts for the kids and give more equipment. So it gives more of the real-time experience. And after going through that, you get officers coming in and, I'd like to try this, like that. The feedback we got from the kids was excellent. There was 10 of them in there. My part was, I was the detachment commander acting at the time, so I did the drill. So day one, popularity contest wasn't on my side, but we instilled that in them. But by day 4, they did absolutely amazing job of coming together as a group of young teenagers. I think from last year, I still hear from my neighbor, his granddaughter is now in the policing application process from that academy she went. I think there's a few good candidates that should come out of this, but then ones who realize this isn't for them, and that's the point of the academy too. Try it too. So it was a great kind of community involvement, lots of partnerships with the peace officers and fire and everybody else. It was pretty neat to be part of.
Okay, any other questions, any comments? Councilor Jessica?
Yes, thank you for that report. Just to carry you a bit further on Mayor Peachy's question about staffing, if I'm reading this correctly, we're down 6 right now, 4 transfers and seeking 2 additional, or?
Right now, we are down, well, Corporal Oliver, he promoted, so he's in a spot, so we'll have to fill his constable spot. I was just going through in the last 2 weeks with staffing where we were at numbers-wise. We were sitting quite flush on, even with 2 of these transfers in place. We were running 1 vacancy. Now we're down to 3 vacancies, but they're actively starting to fill those, and it shouldn't be an issue. Trying to fill them laterally, because our recruiting process right now, it's like every other police force, it's really low. So we're trying to use it the more we got and trying to make it more attractive for people to come and stay. So as far as these members, one's already gone, one will be going his house is sold, so he'll be gone within a month, and the other one will probably be by October. So we have a bit of time to fill those positions.
And I guess where it's coming from is in the news recently about recruitment problems with RCMP and everything. So I guess my concern would be whether this is a sign of the new normal or whether it's temporary like it's been in the past.
Well, I'm certainly, like, we are definitely facing recruiting issues. It's well known. I know it as well. However, I have close colleagues back in the Lower Mainland from when I was there, and many municipal forces, they're facing the exact same challenges as we are. There's not too many people who are coming out of high school, university, and wanting to throw on the uniform and kind of going through a lot of the social issues we've gone with the last couple, 3 years. We are pushing, I'm pushing, I tend to more, I've got a couple people locally, blue collar guys, guys who, know how to have a conflict. You don't need an education or a degree. You need to have good people skills, sometimes with wisdom and working in trades and stuff like that, parlays into this job very, very well. So we're tailoring our efforts. We just have a new member here who started. He was an experienced Medicine Hat member. He retired from there, and he's come over with us. It's definitely a both ways thing. There's lots of people, I know of 4 local municipal detachments that have members who are starting in the RCMP. So we're trying to really attract more experienced officers. It's just easier for training and carryover, but the recruiting is definitely an issue, and that's why the initiatives going forward and stuff like the Youth Academy and that are trying to get people interested in this industry.
Councillor Idris?
So when you mention vacancies, what's the number you are working with?
Right now, we have 38 positions in Brooks altogether, and that includes our public service administrative. There's supposed to be 2. There's only been 1. That's all gone through for approval. So we're working 38 in total. Right now, member-wise, we're sitting at about 26 because there's some municipal staff. And we're probably one of the most fortunate out of the South District detachments to have a full capacity. We were at full capacity here for the last year that I've been here. But with the tenure of members who, have been here a long time, there isn't a high turnover. We're probably, say, with these 3 transfers, we're going to be running about 3 short. Luckily, all the recommended staffing levels for our day-to-day watch patrols and stuff are met, and we have our school resource officer name now again. It's going to be, we just added a position, a second general investigative section position, but that's been upranked to a corporal for numerous reasons I was speaking with the mayor about earlier. Just as far as oversight and investigation and the complexity of files we're getting, the files aren't necessarily increasing, but the severity and complexity of them is increasing. So we want to get a bigger knowledge base and more experienced knowledge base with some larger, more complex files. That's what we're after. But yeah, we're still getting interest from other lateral searches and stuff, but it's a process, and the process definitely takes a while, unfortunately.
Okay. So in terms of members, did you see, because 38 includes your admin and everyone, right?
Pardon me, sorry?
Your 38 includes administrative staff.
Yeah, we have 38 in totals,
But
which
what's the members?
26.
26.
26, like on the road all the time, and with schools, if you want to add some admin, we're sitting between 26 and 29 at any given moment all the time.
Okay, any other questions? Councillor Goodenough?
Thanks for the presentation again. In the recent month, we've heard through the news, just with the random attack. I know I don't want to comment much on that, but I am noticing an uptick quite a bit with assaults and criminal harassments. And I'm just wondering if there's what we can do to ensure that our citizens feel safe, getting some concerns of, is it safe to be on the streets in Brooks? I know we just had an amazing event, and I didn't hear any complaints, but can you care to comment on that?
I can. As far as I've put a few media releases in regards to some of the violent assaults that have had occurred. Regarding some of the more serious ones, like there was a stabbing that happened around the same time as this homicide. There's limited public risk. And in that statement, one could take that it's more centered between a known group of associates that are essentially, target's a strong word, but they are certainly focusing their violence towards each other, and it's not spreading out in a public capacity to where there'd be a heightened public awareness for us as far as risk to public. That being said, that random attack was, by going into the investigation, was 100% that. A random attack that shouldn't have happened, absolutely not. I think there was many issues at play with the person who was brought into custody from that. And then the courts released them. We did our best to have them not be in a situation where they could present that harm and risk, and people are then feeling, can I even go out in my neighborhood? But most of the serious crime that's been happening as far as violent events and stuff has been centered around one particular area, one particular group of associates that keep hanging around. So that's, I think the safety level in Brooks is there. Nothing's really changed. I mean, you're always going to get one-off what-if events that just shouldn't happen but do. And that's why our members, I mean, have been like out patrolling at night because people are out there later at night and that sort of stuff, walking their dogs and, you know, not able to be in the house, that sort of thing. But other than that, like I say, the statistics of the violent events that have happened are controlled to a certain degree to one location where it's not spreading that, you know, concern out in the public.
And so then I guess you are then focusing, you're having some of your members focus in on those areas. having
It's
a bit
very
more of a
centered, yeah.
presence. Yep.
Very centered around there and like one local area, and we're working with property owners to have maybe these people reevaluated for their suitability in, you know, where they're occupying their residence or what they're calling their residence and that sort of stuff. So we're using, I was out there with peace officers and bylaw the other day at one particular area where this seems to be happening a lot, and we're definitely focusing our areas on this 1.5 blocks to quell these. And will it solve things permanently? Maybe not, but it'll certainly displace things enough to where we can have lapse and reevaluate and isolate these individuals again.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you for your time this afternoon.
All right, thank you all very much.
To the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Jessica that the following items of correspondence be received as information, updates on council conferences and/or workshops, the accounts payable listing. Councillor Jessica.
Well, nothing too exciting. So the City of Brooks does have a B City designation, which reflects our commitment to support the habitat of pollinators that are so important to agriculture in the area. And through Eco Brooks, we were looking at a birdseed designation, and you know, birds in general, but especially prairie birds and songbirds are under serious threat with up to 75% drop. So we did have a teleconference to discuss that possibility, and it's quite a challenging designation to get. It would require some support and commitments from the city so far as sustainability and environmental issues, but I think we will pursue that and see if we can't do something with it. The other thing, I was at the Alberta Care AGM and Regions meeting in Leduc, and most of the issues we're dealing with waste management and recycling, and the Extended Producer Responsibility Program was part of the discussion, and it is moving forward. It has been passed as a regulation, so it's a very serious commitment by the provincial government to move forward with the diversion of recyclable materials. And there are deadlines coming up. There's still some of the deadlines are coming up before the information you really need to make a decision has been distributed, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for the next little while. But the bylaws have been partially distributed for discussion, and there are some issues that will probably relate to the City of Brooks and its activities. So I'll keep you informed on that, because it could make some things fairly interesting. But overall, the province is very serious about this, and we are going to see some very major support for recycling throughout the province.
You talk about deadlines, do they have a date, like at the end of the year?
Well, you have,
2025?
so at the end of this year, you have to register if you're going to be part of the program. And then by July of 2025 is when the full commitment comes into effect.
Okay. Thanks, Councillor Jessica there. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that the August 2023 financial variance report be accepted as information. Shelley?
Thank you very much, through the chair to Mayor and Council. So this report finds the city approximately 62% of the way through the 2023 year already. Overall, we're in line with our operating budgets, and however, there are a few notable events that I've listed in this report, which may cause a variance to the budget at the end of the year. So first, the city has received our first quarter invoice from the RCMP for municipal policing services, which is based on their forecasted costs for the fiscal year April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024. So it's their first quarter. This is the second invoice we've received for the year, but the first one was their fourth quarter from last year, just because we have different fiscal years. So these forecasts for their new fiscal year, which make up our new payments, are based on an RCMP complement of 21 members and have increased considerably since we passed our 2023 budget. As our budget was based on an earlier forecast that they had provided us and a 19-member complement, we anticipate a negative variance of approximately $147,700 for the 2023 year. In addition to that variance, the first quarter invoice also included an additional charge of $100,516 regarding their previous fiscal year of April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2023. This charge reflects the actual costs less the amounts that the city was previously invoiced. Although this amount will also be an additional negative variance, it will be offset by lower costs than budgeted for the retro pay from 2015 to 2021, which was invoiced to the city recently. So we did have that in our budget for about $727,730, and we budgeted that to come out of the stabilization reserve. And the amount that was invoiced was less than that, $628,532, leaving a favorable variance of $99,198. Now that amount, that particular amount that was invoiced, is not actually payable right away. We did enter into an agreement with the RCMP, so basically we can pay it in 2 installments ending March 2025, and that's without interest. So that's, that was a good opportunity. So in summary, the city should expect at the end of the year an overall variance of about $149,000 for policing costs. On the positive note, investment income is already higher than budget this year due to considerable increases in interest rates. At this point in the year, we have about $105,000 favorable variance on a prorated basis, and it's anticipated that this variance will increase throughout the next few months. Especially right now, we've collected all of our property tax dollars, so until some of our large expenditures happen, we'll have opportunity to gain some interest. The city's budget is based on 1.5% of the city's reserve balance. Therefore, the interest earned in excess of that is always transferred to the stabilization reserve at the end of the year, pursuant to our reserve policy. So considering the negative variances that we're expecting from municipal policing, which would also be funded from the stabilization reserve, this additional interest will be a welcome offset for that reserve. And another positive, the amount of grant revenue received from the province for FCSS, or Family and Community Support Services, is anticipated to be just under $20,000 higher than budget. This increase was announced in the province 2023 budget, but it wasn't anticipated in our budget. So of course, the additional amount that we receive will be passed on to the regional FCSS board. Therefore, the city itself really won't see a budget variance with that. I just thought I would mention it. There are no significant variances to report in regards to the capital budget, and happy to answer any questions, but our recommendation is that this report be accepted as information.
Okay, any questions? Councillor Idris.
So going back to that number of, I think you know where I'm going with that. What does our agreement say? Like how does this number come up?
Through the chair to Councillor Idris. So I believe our agreement is based on 23 members, but in their multi-year capital planning, they base it on 21 just for vacancies and absences and things like that. So that's what they base it on, their multi-year capital plan. In our budget, currently, we are actually only funding 19 members. Okay. So that's usually what causes the variance. I do believe the numbers he was speaking of were not just the City of Brooks's contract, okay, but also the other surrounding areas.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Shelley. Okay, moved by Councillor Goodenough that Laura McDonald be appointed to the City of Brooks Environmental Advisory Committee as a member from within the boundaries of the County of Newell for a first 3-year term commencing August 22nd, 2023 and ending August 21st, 2026. Amanda.
Through the chair to Mayor Petrie and Council, the Environmental Advisory Committee, also known as EGRO Brooks, is made up of 12 members in accordance with bylaws 2306 and 2311. Out of the 12 members, not more than 7 members may be citizen-at-large members, with a maximum of 2 residing from within the boundaries of the County of Newell. The committee received an application from Laura McDonald, who resides in the village of Dutchess and has worked in recycling for the past 20 years to serve on the committee. As Laura feels that she can share knowledge regarding environmental concerns, the committee is recommending that she be appointed to the committee. Therefore, administration is recommending that Laura McDonald be appointed to the City of Brooks Environmental Advisory Committee as a member from within the boundaries of the County of Newell for a first 3-year term commencing August 22nd, 2023 and ending August 21st, 2026.
Any questions? Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that the City of Brooks Council nominate Councillor Ray Jessica for the position of President Chair of the Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association. Alan.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council, CEWA's annual general meeting for 2023 is coming up in September, and they are seeking nominations for the position of President/Chair. I think it'll probably be president after they have their annual general meeting, as they're looking for a resolution to do that there. Councillor Jessica has been a member of CEWA since its inception in 2009, and that includes being on the executive since September 2018. With the proposed location of the facility in our region, and with Ray's knowledge and long-time experience with CEWA, I think it would be a benefit for our area if Ray was nominated as the President Chair. Therefore, the recommendation is that the City of Brooks Council nominate Councillor Ray Jessica for the position of President/Chair of the Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association.
Okay, any questions? This is a nomination there, but they would, other municipality would probably nominate somebody too, so there would be an election then, so, yeah. I think you're the perfect person for the job there, yeah, yeah. I know you put a lot of effort into it, and we often talked about this project. I know we talked to the Premier about this project, whatever, and it would be nice to see it finally come to fruition, you know, at some point in the next couple of years here too. Councillor Jessica? Yeah, yeah, okay.
Do I have to vote for it?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councilor Jessica that the council close the meeting to the public for agenda item 9A, personnel as per section. Oh, right, sorry, Sandra. I haven't seen you in a long, long time, and I kind of missed you, whatever.
Hello, everyone. I hope you've had a good summer so far.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a problem, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, who is currently in the position of chair at SEWA, please?
Tom Grant, Mayor for Vulcan.
Is he stepping down, or is his term up, or what?
His term is up. He's actually been in that position 1 year longer than he should have been, but.
Okay, thank you. And in regards to the CRA, what exactly is going on at this point right now, please?
Oh, we'll get Randy, to give us an answer on that one there too.
It's the weeping tile upgrade that was in the 2023 budget last year.
So it was the weeping tile upgrade, and according to this, there's also going to be an ice floor, I think, replacement. Is that completed?
Not
plant
ice floor, the ice plant floor. Yeah,
That's been done. That's already done, yeah.
Okay, so this is the final project then?
This
What's
is
going
the
on
final
right
one,
now
yes.
is the final one?
Yep.
Do you have any
For now.
idea when it'll be completed, since the Bandits have a TBD on their first game?
It is anticipated to be completed mid-September. I don't have an exact date, but mid-September.
So will or could that affect Bandits games?
It's, I believe the first Bandits home game, regular season home game, is the 22nd. So we're hoping it's done before then, but like I said, I don't have a correct date or a concrete date on that.
That's fine, thank you very much, that's it.
okay. Yeah, well, we're talking media here. I just want to welcome, I believe there's a group behind us here. C Radio Global is here. So I just want to welcome you to Brooks. And if you got any questions, you certainly can ask them now, or ask, you can phone Alan or myself anytime on that. So welcome to Brooks there too. So, okay. Well, sure, if you want to come here, yeah. You can introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really a privilege for us being here. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, everybody. So, yeah, so we are from Colombia, and we have a company as a broadcasting company, TV, radio, and press, and it's based on internet. As the conversation that we have with your Honorable Mayor, so. And the idea about the company is try to put our service to the city to be a channel of communication between the city and the community. And we would like to do that because we believe that the more serve is better for everybody, more communication. So I'm just gonna give you a couple a background of the owner. He's Nelson Vaos. He's and his wife, Diana Marcela. He spent more than 25 years in Colombia as a journalistic, and for tough circumstances, he has to immigrate here to Canada just right before COVID. And he's an entrepreneur, and he started to think, how can I do the same thing that I used to do in Colombia? And how can I be part of the society here in Canada? And he loves Brooks because this is the city that received them. And that's why now E-Radio Global is sitting in Brooks, headquarters is here in Brooks, and already we have already 11 years as a Radio Global, but the main purpose about this meeting and about everything here is just that if you can let us know how can we serve to the city, to the community, so we're more than happy to do whatever we need to do to just serve to the community.
No, I appreciate you coming here today, and I'm interested, I know I missed your grand opening there, but I think a couple councilors were there, but I'm interested in knowing more about it, so we'll have to get together and have a coffee sometime to find out a little bit more about your business there too, so.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for having us this opportunity. And yeah, more than happy to get a coffee and expand more information about that.
Oh, okay,
Thank you.
perfect, okay, thank you, okay. Now, okay, moved by Councilor Jessica, the council close the meeting to the public for agenda item 9A, personnel as per section 16 FOIP at 5:15 PM. All those in favor? Carried.